Hey, what's up, everybody? This E coming to y'all with another episode of Hit The Sled. Hey, I got a tremendous episode for y'all today. But before we get started on this episode, subscribe to my YouTube channel at Hit The Sled, and then you can follow me on Twitter at Hit The Sled Pod. Man, what a tremendous episode I got for y'all today. Man, all this past week I've been dropping episodes, letting you know what happened in the Commanders game with the Saints, coming back and showing you what went on in the Eagles game in week 10 and what the Commanders are facing with the Eagles moving forward on Sunday. And yesterday, I showed you how Caleb, what's going on with the Chicago Bears. Is it the scheme? Is it Caleb? Is it the offensive line? Or is it just a combination of all of them? And today, what I wanted to show you what's going on with the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Man, I'm going to tell you something. After watching that film, it's going to be tough for me to see the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl this go around. And because the reason why I would say that is because of the play of the offensive line, specifically the tackle positions. The tackle positions are nowhere near championship level, in my opinion. This past week against the Cleveland Browns, they had to move on Joe Thuney, the all-pro left guard. They had to move him to left tackle. And his first game at left tackle was against Myles Garrett. And I'm going to show you, Myles Garrett was giving them problems. Myles Garrett was a problem all day. Now, granted, Myles Garrett is an all-pro. Last year, Defensive Player of the Year. Myles Garrett is going to give anybody problems. But, man, Kansas City Chiefs cannot win the Super Bowl, in my opinion, with Joe Thuney at left tackle. That's a tough chore, even for someone who's an all-pro at the left guard position. Moving from guard to tackle, that's a totally different position, and you can clearly see he was struggling with somebody like Myles Garrett. And when you get to the playoff, it's the best of the best, and hey, it's going to be tough for me to see the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl with that offensive line. It wasn't just Joe Thuney who was struggling. The right tackle was struggling too. He was struggling. The left guard, the position that Joe Thuney they had to replace Joe Thuney, who moved the tackle, number 66. He was struggling too. And Cleveland, yes, Cleveland has a formidable defense, but Kansas City was really struggling. Cleveland, they were getting home, collapsing in the pocket on just 4-man pressures. I'm sure going into that game, Jim Schwartz, the Cleveland defensive coordinator, Cleveland Brown defensive coordinator, he thought they probably would have to bring more pressure. But as the game kept going, he clearly saw we can wreak havoc with just 4. And that's what they did. The reason why they lost the game was because of the turnovers by Jameis. Jameis had a couple turnovers, and that gave Kansas City short fields, to which point they took advantage of it. And credit to them, they took advantage of it. And in this same game, Pat Mahomes got hurt. Pat was hit a couple times, man. Not a couple. Pat was hit a lot. He was hit a lot in this game. And right now he's dealing with a bum ankle. That's because Cleveland was after him. Cleveland came after him. So, and I'm going to show you all of that, man. So, in my opinion, after watching the Chiefs now a couple times this season and ongoing, when they get to the playoffs and stuff like that, it's going to be hard for me to see them making the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl with that offensive line, man, because if they get to the Super Bowl, they got to go through some formidable defenses. And when they get to the Super Bowl, they either going to be playing Detroit, who's banged up right now, but who still got to, when everybody's healthy, they got a good pass rush. Then they got to play Minnesota. Man, I just showed you yesterday what Minnesota did to a bad offensive line. Minnesota get after you. And not only them, but the Eagles. The Eagles will get after you too if your offensive line is suspect. So for me to see Kansas City doing what they need to do to win a Super Bowl, that's going to be tough, man, to be quite honest with you. But I'm getting ready to show that to you. So going into this game against the Cleveland Browns, man, everybody was saying Jim Schwartz will be bringing havoc. Man, he didn't have to, because all he really had to do was blitz. He just had to play 4-man pressures against Kansas City. And that's really all he really did. He just was bringing 4-man pressure. And a lot of it, he was just running games. He was running stunts. He was doing those things. But that's like any other defense. But this front four, and you'll see it from the other angles. This offensive line for Kansas City, man, they got to do better, man. They really do. They have got to do better. And for them to get there, to get to where they need to go, they're gonna have to get there. As you can see here, I'm gonna rewind this for you. As you can see here, Joe Thuney, here's Joe Thuney right here. Joe Thuney is going against Myles Garrett. Man, Myles Garrett gave that man problems all day. Myles Garrett was giving that man problems all day. This is the first throw of the game, and Myles Garrett right now, look at that. Myles Garrett had to force because of Myles Garrett pressure. Pat started drifting, and once Pat started drifting, it was like that majority of the day. Pat started seeing ghosts. Pat started scrambling around. You're gonna see it from the other view. Pat started seeing ghosts. He was moving around, and I was just like, this is really interesting here. This is really, really interesting. Here's Joe Thuney right here. Here's Myles Garrett. You're gonna see it. Myles Garrett was causing havoc. He was causing havoc on Joe Thuney right there. Just watch it. Just watch it. And then I'm gonna show you something else. Watch this. You see that? You see that? I'm gonna rewind it again. You see that? Myles Garrett, as you can clearly see here, Myles Garrett is just going to do a rip technique, and he's going to push Joe Thuney all the way up to Pat. Pat Mahomes feels him, and he starts to drift. But the problem is this other tackle right here, 74, playing right tackle, he's no better either. He's not where it needs to be. He was getting bulldozed around too. And the other one is this guy right here, number 66. He was not playing. I don't know what they're going to do with him, but he's not playing well. He didn't play well either. Maybe after his first game, he plays a couple of weeks, and you can see here, Pat had to get rid of that. Pat had to get rid of that, and that was majority of the time. That was majority of the game, man. Pat had to get rid of that ball a lot of times. So this one, excuse me. Let me see. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, now we're on task. Okay. So this is just going to be a regular bootleg. Pat is going to bootleg to the right. He's going to hit Juju. He's going to get a little bit of pressure. Here's Juju here. Juju's just sneaking out on the back end, and he's just going to sneak out. And the defensive end, this was just easy. This pitch and catch right there. This pitch and catch for Pat and Juju. So that's no issue with that. On a bootleg, typically you play fake and you might get some rush. The quarterback is expecting something like that. So that's not really an issue. That's not really an issue at all. For Pat and Juju, you're gonna see it here again. He's just gonna give him the ball, and Juju is gonna take it into the end zone. That's an easy one right there. And you're gonna see it again from the end zone view. Again, let me pause this right here. You're gonna see here's the defensive end. He's gonna sneak down and come out. Pat is just play faking. He's booting around, and Juju is sneak on the backside, and Pat is going to hit him on the other end. It's just a simple. Every NFL team runs this play. It's no secret. That's an easy play for Pat. That's an easy play. Now this one, you're going to see Cleveland is going to bring 6-man pressure. Pat had time on this. They held up on this particular one. This is early in the game. This is first quarter. That's why I was saying Jim Schwartz said I'm gonna bring pressure on this one. He had time. He had time. He should have hit this guy coming in on the drag. Well, Pat got greedy. Pat is gonna go deep. He's gonna take this guy going deep. He should have hit this guy coming on the drag, but he didn't. He got greedy. He shouldn't have got greedy. He should have took what the defense gave him. He should have just took it, but he didn't. He got greedy and he went deep in double coverage. That wasn't in. He should have just went deep. He should have took the drag, I should say, excuse me. But again, the offensive line did a good job on this particular play. They did a good job. Cleveland brought the heat. This is early in the game. Jen Schwartz, as you can clearly see, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then this guy right here, 6. So they Jen Schwartz was like, man, I'm bringing the pressure, but they held up on this one. They held up. Pat had time. He had time, but he, like I said, he went into double coverage. Should have got picked. Should have got picked off by that guy right there, but he didn't do what he was supposed to do. That should have been an easy pick right there. That should have been an easy pick. All right. The next play. It's a 4-man. It's going to be a 4-man rush. Cleveland collapsed the pocket. And this is what I meant earlier when I was telling you guys that Cleveland with 4-man pressure. There's only 4 guys rushing this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Watch what these guys do. Watch what these guys do to the pocket. Those 4 guys are going to collapse the pocket, freeze it. They got a hit on Pat. Pat had to overthrow the ball. It was like that all game. You're going to see it from the end zone angle. You're going to see it from the end zone angle where they just overpowered them. I'm just being honest. That's what happened. They just overpowered them, and you're going to clearly see it. It was just full out. They just collapsed the pocket. You got Myles Garrett doing a bull rush here. Is no mistake about it. No technique. That's all he's doing. You got this guy over here, bull rushing 74, collapsing him in the pocket. You got 66 getting bull rush here. The only one that kind of was holding his own was 65, but everybody else the pocket was collapsing around Patrick Mahomes. Look at that. He had to step up and he got hit. He took a shot. And that's what I was trying to tell you guys, man. Pat took some shots, man. He's going to take a shot. Look at this shot he's taking right here. He stepped up like he was supposed to, but he took a shot. He took a shot. And, hey, man, can't keep taking shots like that. Cannot keep taking shots like that, man. He already got a bum ankle as it is. You can't keep taking a shot like that. Again, there's going to be another 4-man pressure. Pause it here. It's going to be another 4-man pressure. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be another 4-man pressure there. And, man, they collapsed the pocket again. Myles Garrett is getting there, getting hit and Pat. They did that all game. You see, and that's what I was trying to tell you guys. They did that all game long. You got credit Cleveland, man. You got to credit Cleveland. Man, watch Myles Garrett here. You got Myles Garrett over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. These guys are just gonna collapse the pocket, and they're gonna have a little DT stunt where the defensive tackle comes in there. I'm gonna rewind it again for you. Guys, so that you guys can see it. You got Myles Garrett right here. Myles Garrett's gonna come around here. Pachenko is gonna come over here, try to chip him. You're gonna have a little twist thing going on, action here. You got this guy going here, whereas this guy's gonna come around and lay a hit on Pat. Pat can't keep taking these shots, man. Pat cannot keep taking these shots. See that? Look at 93. Pat took a shot. He was looking for a flag right there, but ain't no flag. It ain't gonna be no flag there. It ain't gonna be no flag. It ain't gonna be no flag. No flag on that one. No flag. No flag. No flag. So that's what I'm saying. On this one, you can clearly see Pat had time, but he took that shot. You can't, hey man, it's gonna be like that. It's gonna be like that with them. That's what he is not gonna survive taking those type of shots all game. Pat is not gonna survive taking those type of shots. I'm sorry. He's not gonna survive taking those type of shots. This is an easy one. They had time on this one. They did a good job protecting him right here. He had time where he was able to find a tight end in the back of the end zone. So on certain occasions, they were able to protect him. He was dancing around back there. He had time to roam around, and he was able to find a guy in the back of the end zone. Certain times, they were able to give him. They were able to give him time, but it was few and far between. Few and far between. They did a good job right here. The front seven, the starting offensive line right here. They did a good job giving them time. They did a good job. They did a good job right there, giving him time. He buying time like Pat tends to do, and he finds the guy in the back of the end zone. So that was a good job on his part. Pat, hey, if you give Pat time, Pat gonna do something great. If you give Mahomes time, he gonna do something great. He will do something great. But if you don't give him time, you keep letting him, he's a man. Pat is tough, man. But you can't keep letting this man take these shots like this, man. This one is another one. It's a 4-man pressure, and Myles Garrett is gonna walk. Myles Garrett's right here. He's gonna walk Joe. He's gonna walk Joe Tooney to Pat Mahomes and force Pat out the pocket. Watch it. You're gonna see Myles Garrett force this man out the pocket. You'll see it. See, Pat feels him. Pat say, man, I got to get out of Dodge. Myles Garrett stopped chasing him. He ends up completing a pass to Worthy, but man, he can't keep surviving. He can't keep surviving like that, man. Can't keep surviving like that. Watch it again. You're going to clearly see it in here. You're going to see Myles Garrett right here. Here's Joe Tooney. Myles Garrett is just going to walk Joe Tooney to Pat. He's going to force Pat out the pocket because these guys, too, are collapsing the pocket as well. Man, Cleveland, that's what I was trying to tell you, that Cleveland, man, Jim Schwartz was like, we don't need to send multiple people. We could just bring our front seven, our front four, and we can get home. Look at that. He making Pat uncomfortable. Pat running for his life now. Look at Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is right behind him now. Myles Garrett is chasing him right here to where Pat got to do something heroic over here. You see what I'm saying? You see it? Man, listen, he can't keep surviving like that, man. Can't keep surviving like that. Can't keep doing that, man. You cannot keep surviving like that. Can't keep doing it. Cannot continue to do that. This one right here is because it's a 4-man pressure. It's a 4-man rush, right? It's going to be a 4-man rush by Cleveland. Cleveland only bringing 4. But Pat is going to run out of the pocket when there is no pressure. That's because he getting hit. That's because he getting hit. He getting harassed. And he like, man, forget this. I'm out of here. Watch it right now. He has time, but he runs out of there. Let me rewind that for you. Right now, Pat Mahomes has time. He got a great pocket. Look at this pocket. He got space right here. Look at all that space he got. He got space. He got room. But because he's been getting harassed by this front four, Myles Garrett and his amigos and his friends, he feel as though he got less time than what he actually do. So guess what happened? He stopped. Pause it. He stopped running out of there. He had to run up out of there when he didn't need to. He runs out of there when he didn't need to, and you're going to see it from the other angle. You're going to see it. Pat had time. He had plenty of time. He had plenty of time, but because he's been getting hit, he's been harassed. He started drifting. He runs up out of there. Let me rewind that for you. So, man, listen. Kansas City is a problem. It's going to be a problem, man, moving forward. It's going to be a problem. On this one right here, it's a five-man rush. Pat had time, but then he got rushed late. Again, he has time, but because he's been getting hit, he's edgy. He's getting antsy in the pocket. He has time. He's gonna have time back here. He goes deep. The ball is gonna get caught. He gets hit late, but that's just, that's part of the game. That's okay. He can do that. That's okay. But man, can't keep surviving like that. Cannot keep surviving like that. Cannot keep surviving like that. You're gonna see it again from here. 5-man rush. Cleveland decides to bring 5-man pressure. Pause it. 5-man pressure. You got Myles Garrett. They do a good job. The offensive line does a good job picking these guys up. You got this guy coming here. They do a really good job doing that. Really good job picking it up. And Pat has time. He gets hit late by Myles Garrett, and the ball gets caught. And hey, but that's a lucky play. You can't keep living like that, man. You cannot keep living like that. Cannot keep living like that. That's tough right there. That's a tough one right there. On this one, it's gonna be a sprint left. You cannot have a sprint left, right, and bust the coverage on Myles Garrett. The best play on Cleveland's team. You cannot have a play where Myles Garrett is not accounted for. Can't happen. If that's in the playoff, that can be a play that costs you the game. They bust the coverage on Cleveland's best player, which is Myles Garrett. Cannot happen. You can't do it. You cannot let Myles Garrett get at your quarterback like that. Nobody touches him. Just watch. Can't do it. Cannot do it. Can't do it. Cannot do it. And you notice I keep calling out Myles Garrett, right? I keep calling out Myles Garrett because, as you can see, watch Myles Garrett watch him don't be touched on this sprint left. Watch him. You can't do that. You cannot do that. You cannot let the best player on Cleveland's team go scot-free. Let me rewind that for you. Myles Garrett is going to get off this ball. He's going to get off that ball, and he's right on Pat immediately. You can't do that. You can't do that. You cannot do that. Let me show it to you again. Myles Garrett right now, look at him. He's on top of Pat right now. Pat is going through his play fake. He sees Myles Garrett. I don't know how Pat got rid of his ball. Pat got rid of it. Myles laid him down. He completes it to Kelsey. I don't know how he did it. That's what makes him great. I don't know how he did it. I don't know. On this one, again, you're going to hear me call out the man's name again. Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is a 4-man pressure. Myles Garrett is going to beat the chip block. He's beating the chip block right there, and he's forcing Mahomes to scramble. I'm going to rewind it for you again. I'm going to rewind it. Myles Garrett, again, I'm calling out his name. I'm calling out Myles Garrett's name for a reason. He's right there. They got a guy right here on him. They got a tackle and a running back accounting for Myles Garrett. But as I'm going to show you, he's going to defeat. That's why he get paid what he get paid. Myles Garrett, that's why he's all pro. That's why he's defensive player of the year. They got 2 guys on him. And he's still going to beat 2 guys. He's still going to beat them. Look at that. Forces Pat out the pocket, forces Pat to scramble, and Pat still goes over there and takes a hit. He over there taking a hit. Man, them boys feeling sorry for Pat. They helping him off the ground. You're going to see it from the end zone angle. You're going to see it from the end zone angle. This is it again. Showing it to you again. Myles Garrett forces him out the pocket. Pat taking a hit. And you'll see it from the end zone angle. Here we go. Look at Myles Garrett. Beat the double team. Spin. And come out. And the number 66, the guard, starts to chase him. He comes over there. He can't do nothing with him. Watch it. There go Myles right there. Watch him. There you go right there. Forces Pat out the pocket. Pat got to go chase him. Man, Myles had a hell of a game. Myles Garrett had a hell of a game. Hell of a game. Hell of a game, man. Man, hey. Myles Garrett came to play. He was ready to play. He was ready to play. Absolutely he was. He was ready and he was willing. On this one right here, it's going to be a 4-man pressure. Again, they not blitzing. They just bringing 4 people. They telling Kansas City, these 4 guys right here can beat your 5 or whatever you got. Forces Pat, they collapse the pocket. They force Pat to step up. Look at that. Look at that. Look at all that. Look at all that. Look at all that. And Pat getting hit again. Pat getting hit right there. You see what I'm saying? This was all day. This was all day long. Pat can't keep surviving like this, man. Pat can't, he not going to survive. He already got now, this same game, he got a bum ankle. This same game, Pat got a bum ankle. This same game, he got a bum ankle. It's because they was hitting him. They was getting to him, and Kansas City couldn't do nothing with him. As you can see here, you got this guy getting driven back. You got this guy getting driven back. You got number 92 pushing. Myles Garrett trying to walk this guy back. They collapse in the pocket on Pat. Pat got to step up. Pat right here, he got to step up to try to find somebody. Man, listen, Kansas City, man, they're going to have to do something. They're going to have to do something. Force Pat to step up. Pat still take a shot from Myles. Man, hey, this thing real. This Cleveland. This Cleveland. Can't keep getting your franchise getting hit like that, man. Those hits add up. Let me tell y'all something. The quarterback don't be in the weight room like the old lineman. Quarterback don't be in the weight room like the old lineman do. The quarterbacks do not live in the weight room like the old linemen do. Them quarterbacks, man, they try and get their little strength together, do a little bit of work. They got a sheet of paper. They walk in the weight room. They got one sheet of paper, and they just go in there to do 4 or 5 exercises, and then they gone about their way. They gone. They gone. So you got to be, man, you got to understand. Again, 4-man pressure. They force Pat out the pocket again. Just a regular 4-man pressure. Regular 4-man pressure. Ain't nothing exotic about this. That's why I was telling you. Jim Schwartz started the game. He brought pressure. Towards the middle and the end of the game, he said, "Nah, I don't need to bring pressure." Look, there's 4 guys. Them 4 dudes right there. Jim said, I ain't got to be doing nothing crazy. Why I need to do anything crazy? That's 4 dudes. And we getting home. We putting pressure on him. We got him running for his life out there. We got him running for his life. Why I need to bring pressure? Why I need to do that? I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that at all. I just need to bring my 4 dudes. I can bring these 4 dudes right here, and that's it. That's all I got to do. That's it. That's it, man. They put a whooping on him. They put a whooping on him, man. They put a whooping on him. And to be quite honest with you, the Kansas City Chiefs, man, they got to do better, man. They got to do better. They got to do better. This thing here is getting real. It really is. It's getting real. So as the season tails to the end, they need this bye coming. They got to win this game tomorrow. They play Houston. Houston got a formidable defensive line. Man, that man, Houston brings pressure. Houston brings pressure. Houston ain't playing. Houston's gonna bring pressure. They gonna watch that film by Jim Schwartz. They gonna tell our defensive line. They gonna tell their defensive line. They say, "Hey man, we need to eat. This game rides on y'all. We need to win this game. Y'all play well, we gonna win." That's what they saying. That's what they saying. And to be honest with you, they won't be lying. Kansas City, I don't know how Andy Reid is gonna fix this. This reminds me of the year they went to the Super Bowl against the Bucs when they were not ready. They could not beat the Bucs with that defensive front by Tampa. Was suing them boys. Tampa win that Super Bowl with Brady. That's because Pat Mahomes' offensive line was terrible, was trash. And they ended up fixing it, and they ended up going back to the Super Bowl and winning a couple. They're going to have to do that now because I don't believe that offensive line, the way it's constructed now, if guys don't step up and play better, they will not beat the great teams in the playoffs. So when you hear it on TV, people talking about Kansas City did, Pat Mahomes can lead them, don't believe that, man. Pat is great. Pat is great. Pat is a great player. He ain't Joe Montana. He ain't Tom Brady. Pat be missing stuff, man. Pat be missing stuff. Pat be missing people open. Joe didn't miss. Brady didn't miss. Pat be missing. Pat need that offensive line to play great for him to run around and do his thing. So, man, that's something for y'all to watch, man. So as I come to the end of this episode, man, I truly want to thank all y'all for watching my channel. We're over 120-some thousand people watching me on Hit the Sled. Man, this thing is coming. It's moving, it's chugging along. Man, I truly appreciate everybody watching me. Everybody subscribing. Everybody leaving comments. Everybody hitting the like button. Man, just keep passing the word around. I truly appreciate everybody watching me on Hit the Sled. With that being said, man, we're gonna have more stuff coming. Can't wait for the Saints. The Commanders against the Eagles. Let's see tomorrow how Kansas City rebounds against the Houston Texans. And of course, we got the first ever college football playoffs going on. Notre Dame currently up 14-0 on Indiana. Man, it's a great time. It's a great time if you're a football fan. So I truly appreciate everybody watching me on Hit the Sled. Keep liking my videos. Keep subscribing. Follow me on Hit the Sled Pod. I truly appreciate it. Man, I see you when I see you. Peace and God bless.